I'm right or I'm surprised. So like that idea, but I don't know. I think that's why the conversation around hope always is a challenge for me because I want to be hopeful. I have goals and ideas for my future and for, what I want my next job to be, what I want, my life to look like in 20 years. But also, eh,
Yeah, right. You have help, you have Jewish hope.
Yeah, I love that word you used, swirl, because I think you can uh, rate people. Now, I don't mean rate in a heavy way, but I think you can uh, think
Organized.
about people, organize people
Yeah.
in their swirl ratio. How much swirl you got going in your head. And as soon as you said that, I felt like you had said something that I really recognized in you from the start, right? So when I met you through Zach, I think the first time, I could tell that you had more swirl than me. So I am
They're pretty swirly.
well, actually, I think I am less swirly than people might imagine I am.
Ah,
Not to talk about myself, but one of the things but of course, let's talk about me.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
one of the things I like to say is people say, well, you're such a rebel or, an innovator or whatever. And I always say, I only feel comfortable doing that when I'm on a good foundation.
Yeah.
So there's a distinction you can make about someone's swirl index. Some people can swirl without a foundation.
Mhm.
I can't do that kind of swirl. That makes me a little antsy. Actually, it makes me very antsy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think you have to have a safety net and, people w- it is dangerous to fly without a safety net, but I also think that, some people don't have that. Like having that safety net or having that foundation is very much a privilege. And so what do you do if that's not how you've been raised or how you've
Mhm.
trained or part of your life? You got to be afraid and do it anyway. But I also think that, Carmen, what's interesting about what you just said is the idea of it brought to mind the idea of you can be trained in some ways to do this. Like I'm not an analyst. There are lots of reasons why I would make a very good analyst and lots of reasons why I would make a terrible analyst. But I think part of that like analytic tradecraft and that mindset really teaches you how to process uncertainty and weigh it and measure it and
Right.
evaluate it and determine your confidence level of how uncertain or certain am I in this uncertainty? And then you can like look at it scientifically and piece it out.
Mhm.
And so I think that definitely seems like obviously it's something, you're both very familiar with in your own lives and your own careers. But I think that, learning how to do that is a really valuable skill.
Yeah. And then also learning how to how to not do that. Not put so much faith in your analysis that you don't notice a change in your uncertainty. Like
Yeah.
to be attuned to your own uncertainty and allow your uncertainty to vacillate. Once you've reduced your uncertainty to allow it to actually increase again. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, I sort of want to talk about something and I grabbed my panda, so I noticed that like I must be insecure about it. So the panda's gonna help me have courage. Um, I sort of want to talk about what it's like to be Jewish now. Do we dare?
I so